Hi, I'm Jeff, and this is Daisy, and welcome to another one of our videos where we take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either February 8th or 9th, 2022. And we ask ourselves the question, what one new comic book would we buy this week if we could buy just one book? Yes, I brought Daisy back. Thank you all so much for your nice comments about Daisy. I gotta tell you, last week's video got twice as many views as the week before, and I can't think it was because my analysis was so much better. It might have had something to do with this little one right here. So she's back because I am not above doing whatever it takes to get as many views on these videos as possible. So welcome Daisy back to co-hosting this week. Now I have a lot that I want to talk about this week, and I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to move through all this information as quickly as possible. So first, let's take a look back 2 weeks ago to my pick from then, which was Saga, issue number 55. And the question remains, was it a worthy and worthwhile pick to be my just one book pick of the week? And the answer is sure. Yeah, sure. I really liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. Now, as I mentioned in the video that I made for my pick from 2 weeks ago, it's doing a lot of things that I like a lot. It has one cover, which I really appreciated. It's oversized, providing additional content. I don't think there's a single ad in the whole thing, and it's only $2.99. This is really great. And finally, it is the return of a critically acclaimed storyline. Now, it's a storyline that I knew nothing about. I've never read an issue of Saga. This book did a really good job catching me up with the story, catching me up with the characters and their relationships, what the conflicts are. And so I didn't feel lost. I felt like I had kind of jumped into a fast forward that had taken place, which is essentially what happened. But they caught me up real fast, and I liked it, so I think I'm going to stick with it. So I really enjoyed it. So I give it a thumbs up for my just one book pick of the week. Now, I want to take another moment to look back on some of the other books that came out 2 weeks ago and what their impact or potential impact was or might be. The first one I want to mention to you is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 87. Now, what kind of impact is this having right now? None. None at all. It's selling on eBay, and it's selling pretty regularly, but it's selling for just about cover price. Now, that's kind of saying something. It's not selling for $2.50. It's not selling for $3. It's selling for just about $4. So that's pretty good. Now, why am I mentioning a book that's selling for cover price and that nobody's talking about? Well, on the very last page is a preview saying, in issue number 88, Queen Goblin, and it's the full page image that is from the cover of issue number 88. So I'm a little surprised that nobody's talking about it. We're going to talk more about Queen Goblin in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 88 in next week's video. It was my pick from last week after all. But people went after that book. And it's a little bit surprising that they're not interested at all in this character's first appearance in preview in the previous issue. So if you missed out on 88 and 87 is still on the shelves at your local comic shop and you could pick it up for cover price, maybe you consider picking it up, because if there's ever any extreme heat on the Queen Goblin character, I think some of that reflected heat will be on to that first appearance in preview from issue number 87. Also 2 weeks ago was a book that was my... I could kind of mention in my video that it probably should have been my pick, and in other weeks it would have been my pick, and this title has been my pick several times before, but it wasn't my pick. I decided to reward Saga for all the reasons that I mentioned. But another great pick from 2 weeks ago was Thor, issue number 21, which I picked up 4 copies of. Now, this was also super fantastic from a story perspective. Donny Cates killed it again. It was absolutely the first full appearance of the God of Hammers. And Donny Cates did a great job, as always, of giving me, oh wow, that's amazing moments. There's a moment, I'm not a big fan of spoilers, but I'll just say that Thor injures himself, and I was like, oh wow, that's amazing. Another thing I'm going to mention about this book here before I put it down is that about 2 days in advance of this book coming out, I checked to see if it was selling on eBay, and boy was it. I think I saw it sell for a high of $29.99 or something like that at one point. I was like, this book is going for $30 2 days in advance of it coming out. I'm going to have to pick up as many copies of this as I can, and I did. So I picked up the 4 copies that I was able to get my hands on. Now this book is not selling for $30 anymore. It regularly sells for just about $10, but that is extremely respectable for a book that I paid 20% less in general than cover price for. So I hope you got your hands on a copy. You should just be reading these books just because they're good, but there was definitely some spec potential there in that book, and it's definitive. We'll see what the future holds, but it already has at least twice its cover price value. There's one other book from 2 weeks ago that I'm going to mention later in this video, but we'll get to that later in this video. Let's go ahead and push forward by taking a look at the 6 books that I want to mention that are coming out this week. As always, I will start off with my 5 honorable mentions, and then I will tell you about my just one book pick for the week. My first honorable mention is a new book with a very long description. So hang in there, buckle up, get your drink ready. I'm going to move through it as quickly as possible. The book is Suicide Squad, BLAZ, issue number 1 of a 3-issue limited series from DC Black Label. Here's the description. The attacks begin without warning, brutal, sudden, cannibalistic. A metahuman with the power of Superman, but none of his humanity. An unstoppable being ruled only by hunger and instinct, striking at random across the world. To stop this threat, Harley Quinn, Peacemaker, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark have been assigned to corral, nursemaid, and if necessary, execute 5 deadly new recruits, the expendable products of a secret government procedure called BLAZ. They're ordinary prisoners, endowed with incredible power and the certain knowledge that it will burn through them like wildfire. They have 6 months to live, maximum. If you're staring down life in prison, maybe that's a good deal, especially if you're Michael Van Zant, desperate to reunite with the mad lover who forsook you after your Bonnie and Clyde crime spree. But that power, it's surprisingly transferable. As each member of the squad dies, the others get stronger. What would a hardened criminal do with that knowledge? Worse yet, what would a desperate, lovesick idiot do with it? One thing's for certain. This time, the Suicide Squad's bitten off more than it can chew. Win or lose, they all burn. Simon Spurrier and Aaron Campbell, the creative team behind the critically acclaimed John Constantine Hellblazer, have been turned loose on the one DC title even more horrific and black-hearted than that one. We suggest you brace yourselves. Okay, so most of the reason to pick up this book is in that description. If that description and that story sounds interesting to you, and it does sound interesting to me, it sounds like it could be pretty cool, I recommend checking it out just for the read. But I also want to mention that there's going to be 5, you see that, Daisy? Yeah. Oh, she likes when I say her name, Daisy. 5 new first appearances in there. Now, the book in this description promises that all 5 of them are going to die. Well, I guarantee that probably at least 4 of them are going to die, definitively. So the spec there is probably suspect at least. But what's going to happen to that 5th character, the one that inherits all the powers from the other 4? Is something about that inheritance of power going to keep that 5th character from dying? And will that character become something that we'll see in the DC universe moving forward? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. So I just pointed it out as a maybe. But more importantly, if that description sounds interesting to you, I would pick it up for that reason. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book called Life Zero, issue number 1 from BLAZ. Here's the description. From the artist of Marvel Comics' Daredevil, Marco Cicchetto, comes a thrilling new adventure. Where were you when the cloud arrived? Where were you when the world changed forever? Where were you when people started dying? Oh, you were licking my face. That's where we were. BLAZ is proud to present Life Zero by Stefano Vietti, and Marco Cicchetto, with colors by Andreas Mossa. At the limits between science fiction, action, and horror is Life Zero. Okay, the description sounds pretty interesting. They give me information without giving me too much information. They give me the vibe without giving me specifics, and I like the vibe. I like the information. So this book sounds like it could be interesting to check out just from story alone. It's an indie #1. Those are sometimes worth it to pick up just for the lottery ticket aspect. But the thing that's most interesting to me about this book is Marco Cicchetto as an artist. Marco Cicchetto is definitely, unquestionably, 50% of the success of the Daredevil run that has been so appreciated and liked by fans of comic books. Chip Zdarsky as a writer on Daredevil has been great, and the other 50% goes to Marco Cicchetto and his art. So his art is really, really good. If you're a fan of his, you might pick this book up for that reason alone. I also just like it when people who work at places like Marvel on the regular and are, doing really good work over there get the opportunity to go to an indie and do a creator-owned and get to do their own thing. I think that it gives them a really great opportunity to spread their wings and do potentially the best work of their career because they're so invested in it personally, financially, and emotionally. So might be all worth checking this out for all of those reasons. The next book I want to mention to you is Land of the Living Gods, issue #1. This is from Aftershock Comics. Here's the description. It is said that when the world dies, the spirits of the first people will return to witness the last days of humanity. Well, the spirits have arrived and the end is here. But not everyone has given up hope. Nadili, a teenage girl living in the deserted city once called Johannesburg, has always believed that there is a land hidden away in time where the gods still live. And where there are gods, there are miracles. Perhaps even miracles that are big enough to save our dying planet. And so, after a lifetime of isolation, Naledi will head out into the unknown with little to hold on to but her faith and her magical pet plant, Buyo. A fairy tale for the times in which we find ourselves, brought to life by South African writer and producer Isaac Mogajene and Brazilian artist Santos. Land of the Living Gods will introduce you to a world of wonder and cruelty, beauty and perseverance, and will leave you profoundly changed. Okay, this one is a true honorable mention this week. I don't know what I think about this one. I really don't like descriptions that end with telling me that reading this is going to leave me profoundly changed. I'm open to that, but that's a pretty tall order from anything. So I'm not so into like extreme levels of hyperbole in my descriptions, and that seems somewhat extreme. However, what if it delivers? What if it is truly, truly amazing? So if you want to try out something new this week, once again, an indie issue #1, this might be a good one to check out. The next book I want to mention to you is Avengers, issue #53 from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. Assault on Avengers Mountain. The Avengers' impenetrable headquarters is under attack by the most supremely powerful version of Doctor Doom in existence and a wildly murderous young Thanos still wet with his mother's blood. The Black Panther fights to defend the mountain alongside his surprising new teammates, King Namor of Atlantis and Jane Foster, the mighty Valkyrie. Okay, so what about that description makes this book particularly interesting and exciting? Well, I will say this is written by Jason Aaron, and Jason Aaron is fantastic. In addition, a supremely powerful Doctor Doom and a young Thanos fighting Black Panther, Namor, and Jane Foster, the mighty Valkyrie, sounds like a pretty cool fight. And in the hands of Jason Aaron telling that story of that fight, that sounds like that could be a comic book worth checking out in the truest comic book fashion. But that is not why I mention this book this week. I have to admit, I got some information from a different YouTube video that I saw that made me immediately put it on this week's list. The video I watched was from Jim Comics. I highly recommend you look up Jim Comics here on YouTube and subscribe to his channel. Now, he puts out great videos about his speculation picks, and he does have a knack for making good picks. He doesn't put out videos every week, but he's a super nice guy and super worth paying attention to. And he mentioned that this copy of this issue of Avengers 53 is going to have the first appearance of Red Panther. Now, who is Red Panther? Red Panther is essentially Black Panther in a red costume. And he had photos from the book to back it up. I saw pictures, and you can go to the video yourself and check it out. There's pictures of a red costumed Panther, and they refer to him as Red Panther. So definitely something worth checking out. Black Panther is a hot character, and all things Black Panther are worth paying attention to, so it would be kind of silly to completely ignore it. However, that being said, first appearances of new costumes, while sometimes collectible, are usually not super collectible. If we saw a Red Panther in the MCU in a movie or a television show, yeah, this book is probably going to pop up in value, but nowhere near, in my opinion, what a first appearance of an actual new character would do on the secondary market. But that being said, once again, this is Black Panther. Black Panther's hot. It's a new suit. I guess you could argue a new character as Red Panther, but it's not, as far as I know at this point. But it would be silly to know about it myself and to not mention it to you in this video. So I had to make it an honorable mention. My last honorable mention this week is Star Wars. Darth Vader, issue number 20 from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. The Queen's shadow returns. Darth Vader continues his quest to destroy the agents of Crimson Dawn, abetted by an unlikely crew of heroes and assassins. But every twist in the tale gets thrown into question with the shocking return of Sabe, handmaiden to Padme Amidala. Who's the hero? Who's the villain? And will they choose chaos or order in the age of Crimson Reign? Okay, why did I pick this? Well, similar to the last book of the Avengers book, the description is, nothing in the description is telling me to pick up this book or make it an honorable mention to you all this week. I mean, Darth Vader's cool. I'm not going to take away anything from Darth Vader ever, but this book is just more cool from this title. So, why is it among my picks this week? Well, it's a cover pick, frankly, and I don't do that very often, but it is an honorable mention because of a cover. And the cover is this one right here. This is Darth Vader, issue number, Star Wars Darth Vader, issue number 20. This is the Lucasfilm 50th Anniversary Edition, the Sprouse variant, as they call it, featuring The Mandalorian and Grogu. Now, it is debatable and arguable that this is the first appearance of these characters in comic books. In fact, I was doing some research online and somebody asked that very question, and this person gave a good answer. They said, the question is this cover the first comic appearance of Mando? And the answer is, depends on your definition. There was the Screen comic, which is the size of a manga digest, which I'm not familiar with, as well as Star Wars Insider with the Peach Momoko cover, which I am familiar with. It's a hotly debated issue. Now, neither of those books are, strictly speaking, in the vernacular and as we commonly refer to them, they're not comic books. Maybe the manga one, but the Star Wars Insider, I think, is a magazine that just happened to have a drawn cover done by Peach Momoko, who's a comic book artist, but the book itself was a magazine, if I have my information correct. Let me know if I'm wrong down in the comments. Not a comic book, but this is a comic book. So this is these characters' first appearance in cameo on the cover of this Star Wars Darth Vader issue number 20. Now, it is already selling on eBay for $20 consistently. Now, will that price hold? We'll see. But it's definitely going to have value on the secondary market. So, if you see this book on the shelves, I highly recommend you pick it up. In fact, you might consider, as soon as this video is over, like right at the end, hit the like button, and then call your comic book store and say, I would like to pull a copy of that if I can, please. Because, you know, it could be a cool read, but definitely this cover is worth checking out. Now, if you miss out on it, but you still want the image, there is a second print coming out. They're calling it the Beskar variant. Instead of having a gold border, it's going to have this silver Beskar border. They're already coming out with a second print of this because they already know people are interested in it. So I doubt that this second print is going to have anywhere near the value on the secondary market as the first print. But I just wanted to let you know about it just in case you were interested in it. But definitely go after that first print if you are able to. Okay, so that's all my honorable mentions. Now, I'm going to move on to my Just One Book Pick of the Week. And I have to say that my Just One Book Pick of the Week has a bit of an asterisk to it this week. And I'll get more into the aspects of that in a moment. But just so you know, because of the asterisks, you might consider Star Wars Darth Vader issue number 20 my Just One Book Pick of the Week. But I'm going to move forward with this next book being, well, not quite next book, with my pick having an asterisk. The next book I want to talk to you about is a continuation of me talking about books from 2 weeks ago. Okay, I know this is a little weird, but stick with me. Another book that came out 2 weeks ago was Black Panther, issue number 3. Now, this book got really, really hot, really, really fast. Now, the A cover is right here for you to check out. This is the B cover that I'm holding right here. And I'm very, very happy to have the B cover. I'm happy to have any copy of this because this book is regularly selling on eBay for $30 to $40 2 weeks after release. In fact, the 1 in 25 variant for this book is selling multiple times for around $450. 2 weeks after release, a 1 in 25 variant, $450. That is extreme. Now, why is this book so interesting to people? Why do people care about it so much? Well, it was an anniversary issue, but it's not the story that people were interested in. It's this right here, this character, Tosin Oduye. Now, here's a little thing that I want to read from an article about this. It says, one form that future can be seen, the future that they talk about of the Black Panther in the previous paragraph. One form that future can be seen is in Tosin Oduye, a new character slated to debut in his own 10-page bonus story in Black Panther issue number 3. A Wakandian youth who is deeply skeptical of the approach that his elders and T'Challa have taken in running the country and protecting its people. Hailing from a village whose people shun the advanced technology for which Wakanda is otherwise known for, Tosin offers a new perspective on the nation's present slate and its future. First off, I'll speak quick side note. This article came out a week before this book came out. How did we all not pay attention to this character coming when there were articles being written about it a week in advance? But people are thinking that this Tosin character is the future of Black Panther. They are referring to it as him as the Miles Morales of the Black Panther universe. Now, Black Panther is not Spider-Man, but Miles Morales is a phenomena. So even if you capture a little bit of the reflected glory and potential of Miles Morales, and if this character has that potential, it's definitely worth paying attention to. So I was really, really happy to get that copy of that book, and boy, it snuck up on people, and that's why it sold out immediately, and also why it's becoming so valuable on the secondary market. Now, if you missed out completely on Black Panther issue number 3, don't you fret. You have 2 opportunities to kind of sort of make up for that. The first one is this guy right here. This is the second print of Black Panther issue number 3. Now, it's a second print, so it's not going to have necessarily the same heat as the first print. However, see that guy on the cover in the hood? That's Tosin. That's the character we're talking about. This is his first cover appearance. And as I've mentioned before, I believe in my video last week, cover buys are becoming more and more legitimate, more and more viable, more and more respectable as for their spec potential. So you should absolutely not ignore this book. Now this book is going to be heavily ordered because the first print was so valuable on the secondary market. People are going to order this book like crazy. I'm probably going to myself pick up at least 2 or 3 copies of it. I don't expect it to gain in value the same way the first print did, but if this character ever reaches the potential that people think it might, it'll definitely be worth more than cover price. So it'll be a good thing to have in your collection. So you might consider letting your LCS know you want to buy 1, 2, 3, however many copies of this book. Let them know ASAP. The second opportunity that you have to catch up on the Black Panther issue number 3 excitement is my just one book pick of the week, which is Black Panther issue number 3. Now I know what you're thinking. Jeff, you just finished telling us that this book came out 2 weeks ago. How can it be your just one book pick for this week? Well, it's with an asterisk. This cover right here that you're seeing is the only one you're going to see for this pick this week. It is the Marvel Masterpieces Joe Jusko variant cover. Now, normally this would have come out the same day as the A and the B cover that I currently own, but it didn't. It's scheduled according to Previews World, according to League of Comic Geeks, which is user generated, so take that with a grain of salt. According to Jim Comics, when he mentioned this in his video, all of these sources are saying that this cover of the first print of Black Panther issue number 3 is scheduled to come out this Wednesday, February the 9th. That's a book that will be in comic book stores that you can. It's a $6 book. It's an oversized anniversary issue that you can potentially get for $6 or less if you have a pull and you get discounts. That is immediately worth $30 to $40. It's already pre-selling on eBay for $30 to $40. If the B cover is holding the similar value to the A cover, then this C cover should hold similar value to those two. So, once again, at the end of this video, hit the like button, but then contact your LCS. Tell them, I would like to get a copy of the Sprouse variant of Darth Vader issue number 20. I would like to get the second print of Black Panther issue number 3. And if that Joe Jusko Marvel Masterpieces book comes in on Wednesday, I would like that as well. And I made that my pick, even though it seems like the Darth Vader book is going to be more attainable. I made it because even though the Darth Vader book is selling for around $20, I mean, the Black Panther book is selling for $30 to $40. So just from a value on the secondary market aspect alone, I had to go ahead and make it my just one book pick for this week. Okay, this was a long video. I had a lot to talk about. I hope that you appreciate all the information. Let me know your thoughts on everything that I've been talking about down in the comments as well. If you like the information I'm providing, likes are appreciated by me. I appreciate all of you who watched my last week video, even if it was just for Daisy and not for me. I appreciate it. I know Daisy appreciates it as well. And to all my new subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing. I invite all of you, if you haven't subscribed, to go ahead and subscribe. I haven't done a just one book video, I haven't done a test your comic book grading skills video in a while. I have about over 100 books at CGC right now. I have access to 75 more books at CGC through a friend's submission. There are more of those videos that are going to be coming down the line. Just CGC's turnaround is slow. I'm going to be making that content for you as soon as I possibly can. Y'all, thank you so much for watching the entirety of this video all the way to the end. I really, really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one.